Hello. So today we'll be talking about the Tower of Hanoi. So it's a simple challenge on which you aim to stack on the farthest tower. So you have 3 discs, you have to stack them on the farthest. You have 3 rows. Rule number 1, you move 1 disc at a time. The second rule is uh, a smaller disc must be on top of the bigger disc. And of course, the last rule is you can only move the top disk in a stack, I mean. So let's play and see how it works. So here's a game. Math is fun. You can try it out. So this is the Tower of Hanoi. What I'm going to do here is what I will be solving exactly. So I'll move my first tower, that is A to C. That's the first move. The second move, I move again the toppest disk of the task. And again, remember, I couldn't move this up here because it's a larger disk. Again, I have to move this back here, right? We want to stack the right. Again, I have to separate this with this. Again, see how it works. Smooth and done. So exactly the same algorithm is what we're going to use right here. So I want to use a recursive way, and of course, what is math without explanation of time complexity? Uh, uh, it takes O 2 raised power n. So in time complexity of the linear, we have logarithmic, we have linear logarithmic, we have quadratic, we have cubic, and of course you have constant. So I've stated the time complexity that was right here. So I want us to get in. So we're excited about this. So I'm using just Fido. Feel fun to use anything, CodePad, Leplit, anything, Visual Studio, all of them. You can use them. They are tools at your disposal at any time. So let's get started. Of course, the pseudo code and everything you solve, you must visualize what you want to solve, how you want to solve it, of course, right? So we want a function, right? Function. So this function accept 4 things. So the first one is n. This is the number of disk, right? Also, we want to have the start. This is the first. We assume this is a tower, right? This is the first tower, right? Again, we have 3 towers. So the next tower is intermediate, right? And the last tower is, of course, you can call it the last, right? You can call it anything. So once you define this, the first thing is, of course, in a recursive, the least possible thing that can happen. That is, if it's 0, so if n is 0, right? We want to say, hey, man, we don't want n to be 0, right? So return, right? And then now we go on to the big issue. So now at this point, we want to call a function, but it's n minus 1f. That is mean we have removed the first disk of the stack, right? So again, we are calling the function, call the function with n minus 1nth. Again, we want 3 things. The start, the immediate, and of course the last. So remember, this is wrong. So in the first function call, you're going with the start, last, and intermediate, right? Got it, that's right. Now, after this point is where you console the moves or the steps. So console the steps, right? And then the last thing, of course, we want again to call the nth. But this time now, we want to follow a certain order, which is not the start, intermediate, last. Now, this time is the last. No, sorry, is the intermediate. last start. So function, we call it with the n minuthiest, with the intermediate, the last, and the start, right? So this is simply the solution of a recursive. So again, the first thing, function. So the function, yeah, yay. So we have, and let's call it just tower, right? Tower. We have n, right? We have the start. We have the last. We have intermediate, right? Easy. Again, let's first the list case. So at this point, you're saying, okay, if this n, okay, it's zero at any point, return, just return, right? Uh, let's get to that big deal now. Easy and fast. Again, copy paste. Yeah. So you're saying even minus one intermediate last. So this we are calling the function. So at this point, we say tower. We call it recursively with the tower. We are saying, hey man, remove the first disk, and then we have the start, intermediate, then the last, right? So at this point now we also console.log. So at this point you say console.log. Okay, these are the steps, right? A to C, B to and all that. So we call the first one, which is the start, right? And then we call it with something like a step, right? And then we call the last one, right? Then we call we put mm, some kind of amen new space the next line. So the last step, of course, so this step was console. And the last step, of course, our pseudocode. Hey man, it's easy. You just copy paste this and rearrange the order. So in copy paste, what we just change, you just take the first one and move it to be the last. Easy, right? So when we run this, I expect on the console, and if I can put up the console over here, see if it works. Let's see, I don't know. The running Fido. Okay, okay, okay. Should work. I don't know why it's not working. Let's see, let's see. Let's pull up the other console and put this over here. So this is the other console allowed to start. Sorry. So I have to call the function. Man. So I have to call the function with this one. So over here say, hey man, let n equals 3. That's what we saw, right? So at this point is n. Remember the start, the last, the intermediate. So you can either use 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. Let me use whatever I want. Let me say I'm using 1. So at this point, the start is 1. The last is 3, right? And of course, the intermediate is 2, right? So again, run it. Yes. So you should see over here shows uh another the arrow, but in another different way. Then we have over the console here. Great, right? Now we are like, hey man, clear, minimize. Then so we want to project this here. So that's why I created this ID content. So at this point, say get element, right? Easy peasy. So we say let a div is equals to uh document dot get element by ID. The name is content, right? And then I like after I get it, we want to change. So instead of consoling one inner, so we want to say a div dot inner text is what we want here. So I'll console see this one, paste, add an icon there, run it. Of course, first step is 1, 2, 3, and you're like, hey man, you're wrong. I know that. Don't worry. The reason you're not showing oh is because no plus. So there are the steps. There you have it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So if you remember well, let's see. Log. So 1, 2, 3, 1 to 2, 3 to 2, 3 to 1. So the same over here. These are the same steps. Take your time, confirm on the video. Thank you.